Hey, so what is up guys? Today I will be reviewing this gaming chair by Abrocco. It's called the Atom RS and this is the black edition. If that's something that interests you, then stand by. So this chair that I have right here is the, as I said, it's a GT RS black edition, which is about £30 more than the regular RS edition. They have two ranges, the RS and the GT. To me, looking at the specs, they both are pretty much the same chair. It's just the design is slightly different on GT versus RS. It is all black, obviously, as the name implies, black edition. The other range, slightly different colouring on it. You could choose between I think a few different colours, but the only thing that really changes are the colours down the side. So the actual rear leather itself stays black, which is a little bit disappointment for me at this kind of sub £200 range. I would have preferred to have something a bit more lively and colourful, you know, like a navy blue or something a bit more dramatic. It's probably what I'd prefer, but looking at a lot of these chairs under that £200 range, there isn't anything really that has much colour to it that looked attractive. The only thing they really have is black leather with some accent colours. What I would have really loved is like a fully blue leather chair or something like that. But yeah, like I say, you got to start paying a bit more money for some of those options. So in the end, I did go with the black edition. There is some carbon style leather on the side here, and the ribs kind of break up the design a little bit, give it a bit more depth, and just to have a black chair. But I did like the design of this. I think the headrest and the lumbar support and the side of the seats, they add a bit of shape to it, give it a little bit more of a design look, as well as being functional, and I'll come to that a little bit later. But let's have a look at the actual building process of the chair and putting it together. So I did that yesterday. So the actual building of the chair was actually really straightforward. The arms had already been assembled. I think in some of the videos I saw previously, the arms didn't come pre-assembled. It was a step you needed to do. These already come assembled in. At the smallest setting, you can widen them if you're particularly big, but I didn't need to. There's only 4 steps. The first 3 steps you could really do in any order, and I actually made a mistake here where I did 1 and 3 before I did number 2, but I don't think it really mattered. Maybe putting on the base on the bottom would have been easier if I did that first before attaching the back, just because it's quite heavy, and to make sure that the screws go in straight might have been easier if I had turned over the base the base of the chair, but there was no issue there really. What I did find, there was actually a lot of screws left over at the end. I'm not quite sure why they gave so many spare screws. It's the most I've ever seen in anything I've bought. Maybe they think it's something that might fall out or get lost. I don't know. So the actual assembly of the chair, it was straightforward. It was only hindered by the actual Allen key that they provided, which wasn't great. In some areas where you're trying to turn that Allen key and you can't get full 360 degrees of movement because of some obstruction, I would have liked to turn that Allen key the other way around and use the back of it, but on one end was a Phillips head screwdriver. so it was no use there. So that was the only thing that made setting the chair up a little bit more fiddly than it could have been otherwise. But more or less, it was straightforward. It is quite heavy, so if you're a little bit more smaller, you might need some help just to get it set up right and make sure the screw is going straight. When you're screwing, in particular when you're screwing that top section to the bottom section, just alternate the screws as you tighten them, just to make sure it tightens. When it tightens, it's all straight and aligned. One thing I would say. So here is the chair. It's on to completion. One thing I noted, there was not. I guess you don't really need instructions with a chair, but it would have been nice to have some kind of notes on what all there are a lot of buttons and toggles and switches in this. It would have been nice to have some kind of documentation on that. But you can more or less figure out what they do by playing around with them, which I'll go through now. So you've got your handrests. It's got a few options on the handrest. So you've got this thumb toggle here, backwards and forwards, and there was a button on the inside which I initially couldn't work out what it did, but actually when you push that button in, you can slide the armrest outwards and inwards. So what else? You've got a toggle here to bring the height of the armrest up. I wish it could have gone a little bit lower. What I particularly sometimes like to do is get right up to my desk. So I've had to raise my desk slightly to get these low enough to go in. But in most conditions, ideally you want your armrest to be level with your desk. But what happens with a lot of chairs, and it happens with this, is you can't get the chair as far forward as perhaps you would like. Sometimes I wish these would have gone back a bit more. So obviously you've got this toggle to go forward and back. I wish they would have gone back a little bit more, so I could have got that chair a little bit closer to my monitors. But that's no biggie. I ended up just lowering it and going under when I need to. They also twist out and in. And obviously if you're a little bit larger, you can adjust the screws underneath and actually place them a little bit further out. So what else? You've got two paddles on the underside. So the right paddle is your height adjuster. So there's not a huge amount of height adjustment there. I'm 5'10". See, at the highest settings, I'm just on my tiptoes there, and on the lowest settings is actually perfect arch for me. If you're shorter, obviously the chair might actually be a little bit high for you. Just to let you know how high my desk is set currently, if I grab tape measure. So my desk at the moment is about 70 centimeters high, to give you an idea. That's the maximum height of the arm, and that's the lowest height of the arm. So that was the right pedal. The left pedal is obviously your tilt lock. So when you activate this, it stops the chair from being able to be rocked back. Deactivated, you can rock back. With the rocking, there is the tension adjuster on the underside. What the tension adjuster does, and you get these on a lot of chairs, you need to adjust it to your weight, and you really just have to play around with it until you get a feel for it. The easiest way is to turn it maximum in one direction and see how it feels, and then start turning it the other way. And what that does is how easily the chair tilts back, and it's different for different people because of their weight. So I've got it just where I feel comfortable with it. It doesn't tilt back too easily. I need to push a little bit. Maybe I could tweak a little bit more to tilt a bit easier, but that's where I'm comfortable with it. So what else? Finally, you've got this lever on the right side, and this is your lever to tilt it back, to show you how far forward it can go. So if you take it maximum forward, it hasn't quite clicked in. When you sit back, it will click into place. That's the maximum forward it will go. This upright position. If you're working at your desk, if I pull this lever down, it's got different levels that you can take it, and you can actually go all the way down. And it's a little bit scary at first. I don't fully feel quite comfortable going this far down, but thankfully the design of the chair can handle it. And that's one thing to note when you look at some of the cheaper chairs that have this function. If you look at the way the actual base is designed on this, it's almost a Z-shape to balance the chair. On some of the cheaper chairs you won't see that, and that's what worried me about them. But perhaps, let's see, can't really see myself using this too much all the way back down, maybe just to have a 5 minutes relax at my desk, but maybe something like this while you're gaming, or at least console gaming. So the thing to note about the headrest and the lumbar support, you don't have to have these, you can take them out, but what I found, if you take these out, the shape of the seat isn't that comfortable. Let's go show you without the head support. I just found there was this awkwardness at the back. You couldn't really rest your head back. I felt the absence of something here. For sure, and so I went back to using the head support. So initially I actually fitted this through the holes, and that didn't really work because it was too low for me, and I found myself keep adjusting it as I sat down, and I realized actually probably the better thing to do is to put it over the top. Like so. And then it sits in a much better place. The lumbar support, some people take it out. I actually found this very very useful and very comfortable to have it in there. And with the head support up at that height, it was actually very comfortable and perfect for me as I would want it. I've got it on carpet here to see how well the wheels roll on the carpet. I was worried about that. I didn't think a wheeled chair would work great on the carpet. Previously I didn't have a wheeled chair, but it rolls around fine actually. I mentioned it is quite heavy. It is a heavy chair if you need to move it. It isn't really obvious on the site what the actual difference between the regular edition and the premium edition is. So I've got the site up here, and I think this is a little bit poor by abrocco. And explaining that, but looking at the specs comparison, I can see the regular RS series, the height adjustable seat min and max values are a little bit lower, so it's 46.5 centimeters to 54.5 centimeters, whereas this chair I've got here goes from 50 to 56. So there's that. It's a little bit higher, both on the lower end and the higher end. Rocking tilt function, so on the RS series it just says it's standard. On the premium black edition it's a multi-setting tilt lock. So I guess that's talking about this tilt button, where it's got different levels of tilt. Which, if that is the case, then I am glad that I got the black edition, but it's not quite clear what the regular chair has. Does it just have one level of tilt? You go all the way back, or what? So guys, I hope that helps your purchasing decision. You've got a better look at this chair. If it's something that you're interested in, you've got in your shortlist. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. As I say, it's just a little bit disappointed with the fact that I couldn't find a chair that really had a more attractive and eye-catching design. But in the end I went with functionality and robustness over all else. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, then please do hit a like and subscribe, as is obligatory to mention at the end of these videos, but it really does help grow the channel, and this is a new channel and I like to bring you more of these videos. So thank you, bye bye.